Greetings, fellow Chojins. I am back with another kinnikuman character figure review from the SH Figuarts. We have our first exclusive character from the manga, Nemesis, by far the coolest looking design for a character that I've ever seen in a long time. He is so edgy and cool, which by the way I should probably mention it, he actually doesn't come with this fabric hoodie. This is actually something I bought on eBay and I put it on him and he looks way more cooler. He looks like a character straight off the DMP. If you don't know what that is, that's from Ultimate Muscle, the demon making plant, but that is another story for another time. This is Nemesis. If you didn't know, the kinnikuman series, specifically the manga, is currently still going. Surprisingly, I didn't know for a while there. I mean, I kind of understood that it was still going, but I didn't know where to read it. But if you want to read it, there's a guy on Tumblr that goes by Planet Man. He's translating every single release of the recent volumes, and I highly recommend, well, I mean, if you're into the whole kinnikuman stuff, I highly suggest it. I was a bit worried when I was going to start reading the new volumes that if I was going to like it or not. But I was very much intrigued at where they took the story and the perfect Chojins and whatnot. I don't know if I'm going to go into deep lore territory because it gets kind of complicated unless you've already known the standards of, well, so I'll say this, Nemesis, I mean, I don't know exactly his actual, how he's related to kinnikuman exactly, because he looks like him, obviously, he's got the mask and everything. I don't know what this symbol signifies on his forehead here, but he's clearly related to kinnikuman in some shape or form, but essentially he is a perfect large number, and that's like an elite, like, so you have the perfect Chojins, and I guess I should break it down. Chojin essentially is Japanese for superhuman, and perfect Chojins are considered to be beings that are closer to God. They're like the chosen ones, or so they are, I guess that's what they believe. And the first introduction to perfect Chojins were Neptune Man and Big the Buddha, which later was Neptune King. But in the new manga, we find out that those two were actually nothing, or at least Neptune King, and that's kind of a letdown because Neptune King, I kind of had the high standards for that guy, but now when I find out he's just a lackey and whatnot, that he left the original Perfect Origins, it's a little bummer. But anyways, Nemesis here is a perfect large number, an elite bodyguards essentially to the true perfect Chojin, Chojin Enma, and he is the original perfect Chojin. He was originally a god because millions of years ago, moons ago, the original gods decided to create Chojins, the devil Chojins, the justice Chojins, and the perfect Chojins. They created them all equal, but then eventually all the Chojins got greedy and they started killing each other in this whole war, so the gods decided they were going to kill them off. But then one of the Chojin gods, he's Chojin Enma, he's like, wait, don't kill them all. I will select a few of them and take them with me, and I'll raise them as my own so I can teach them the true ways of, you know, being righteous or whatever. But in exchange for doing that, he decides to sacrifice his godhood. So I don't think that's a word, but he sacrifices his ability to be a god, so then he becomes a mentor, and then he teaches the perfect Chojins, and then Nemesis here is a perfect large numbers, but alongside the perfect large numbers, because the perfect large numbers are essentially bodyguards, there's also the perfect origins, and those are the original 10 members of the perfect Chojin. Are you keeping up here? Because that's a lot of lore I just threw at you. But anyways, their whole reasoning behind coming in the new story arc, the perfect large numbers, is to get rid of the Justice Chojin, or pretty much all Chojins in general, because their friendship power is growing to be, or at least they don't know it's called friendship power, but each of the Chojins have, the idle Chojins and the devil Chojins, they have friendship power, and the perfect Chojins are scared of that power, so they're going to kill all the other Chojins, so, you know, they're not a threat anymore. Anyways, that's a lot of lore I just threw at you. Moving on at the actual figure, we have Nemesis here, which I mentioned again, he is just absolutely badass. I love his design, the bandages, so edgelordy like. This actually, these little fangs are actually supposed to be part of his upper chest, because if these spikes were actually part of this chest piece, it would actually impede on his articulation. He probably wouldn't be able to do an ab crunch, but because they're not a part of it, they're actually part of his abdomen, he does have an upper ab crunch. However, they couldn't do the same on the back. If you look back here, he has these spikes things which, by the way, if you notice, he has a very like a bat design going on. You see the bat wings on the chest also. That's pretty cool. I love the color. He just looks so cool. I love the color. There's this scars on his face. Man, Nemesis, you're so cool. If you look on the back here, he has these sharp things, and it kind of impedes on his arch ability. I mean, that's pretty much as far as you're gonna get. And unfortunately, it kind of, see, you can already see, it kind of rubs off the paint on the back a little bit. You can see the scars. That does kind of suck. There's nothing that I could do about that. I haven't gotten around to it, but I plan on buying a second release figures of each of the kinnikuman figures just so I can keep them in the box. But yeah, just wanted to point that out. Speaking of which, this might seem a little gay, but I commend Nemesis on his gluteus maximus. This is probably the most finely sculpted piece of glutes on the SH Figuarts kinnikuman figures, or maybe in SH Figuarts history. That is some impressive grade A glutes. I salute you, Nemesis. This tights doesn't leave much to the imagination. Moving on. The paint application is a little sloppy. I have to say it's a little unfortunate. See, you can kind of see the white paints rubbing off on his black piece right here. It is well painted right here at the edge. A little bit of a slop right there. And aside from this and this right here, it's not as bad anywhere else, I think. Is it? Yeah, just there. Anyways, let's get on. I mean, there's nothing else I want. Oh yeah, he also has a very differently sculpted neck piece. Most of the other SH Figuarts, much like also like Ramen Man, his entire, I'd say most of his body is a brand new sculpt. Not making use of any of the old body parts from the original SH Figuarts kinnikuman figure right here. Man, just isn't he just so cool? Look at Nemesis. God, he is just so awesome. Anyways, let's get on to the accessories, because as far as articulation goes, he can do everything and anything all the previous other SH Figuarts kinnikuman figures that I've already mentioned. The only thing that kind of sucks is his this piece right here kind of impedes on his arch abilities. Put you down right here. For accessories, aside from his default face, he came with a yelling face, which also doubles as an in pain face. That's what I like about this face. Get a good look at it. And this is actually probably one of the coolest features. If you notice that it's just a cool thing by design if we can focus on it. So essentially the mask, or these two things at the side of his mask, essentially swoop down at the bottom of his face to create this face mask. And although he does look, I mean, he does lose some of his coolness, because I think he looks way cooler like this. It's still more or less, it's just the function that's what that does. It goes, and then he gets this face mask. Not as cool as the thing, but it's still, the function is what's cool to me. That's all about that. These two grasping hands with the thumbs protruding outwards, standard stuff for SH Figuarts kinnikuman figures, and a new kind of a hand piece with him pointing. And that's pretty much it. Overall, an amazing figure when it comes to the kinnikuman figures. I take them to heart. I don't know, I mean, I haven't actually seen anybody else, any other figure review peoples that talk about the kinnikuman figures, if they know the lore, because I'm just saying, you guys gotta learn the lore. It just makes these characters way more cooler when you know about them. Especially Nemesis, I want to know his secret. How are you related to kinnikuman? I need to know. What is your secret? Anyways, that's all I want to say. In the slideshow, it's kind of going to be spoilers against his fight with Robin Mask, which, by the way, that fight was pretty... It made me tear up, I'll just say that. Anyways, Perfect Large Number Nemesis, go out and be perfect. I'll see you guys later.